Okay, what is happening? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for listening. I am Chris, and this is Cool Cars with Chris. And like always, I have Courage, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. Good San Diego / Temecula warm weekend, but we've been enjoying it for sure.
Yeah, we are in the thick of summer 2026. How's your summer been so far? Been great?
It's been good. Yeah, we had a couple of little trips that we, had in places we hadn't gone. Went to Universal a little earlier in the summer for my son's birthday, and a couple of cool car events and stuff like that too. So
you're the cool car dude, man. So like literally though, like where did you say today you went to a cool car event? What you got?
Yeah. So this is the second pass at this. Shout out to Avants. They've been doing a lot just kind of around in San Diego the last, I think probably 5 or 6 months or so. So I talked about, I think previously I got a chance to go to the Cars and Bids Bat Cave that they like to call it. And so they had another event there, which they call just like a same place. Yeah.
Okay.
So, different cars because they're, obviously with them being an auction site, they're usually auctioning off different cars at different points. But, some familiar faces, but it is a really great mixing pot of just all kinds of car people, to be totally honest. Young guys that, have just gotten their first, fun car that they're driving, older guys that, that are in a state where they're just, they're on their second 911 with the 911 getting built,
money.
Some money's flying, but all just, kind of a melting pot, like with this passion for cars that is, like I said, I feel like is really what the car community is about. So it was fun. We had a lot of fun for sure.
So was Doug there or his crew there?
So his crew was there. Doug, he's again at a different state in life now where he can kind of summer and spend time in another place and then come back here to San Diego, at a certain point. So he tends to spend the summer over in Nantucket. He has a home there and his family lives there. And so he was out there in Nantucket. But there were a couple of his friends and some of the guys that run like the podcast with them. And other guys that actually do, they have these other little sort of side projects that they've been doing that were there. So, really cool talking with them. All of them are car guys. So,
I hope so.
I'm sure they got a lot of people now that work for them that like might not be like, they obviously have to have an HR department and stuff like that. I highly doubt everybody in HR is in the cars, but
it's kind of the same thing about like a car dealership. Like if you go to a car dealership, you kind of wonder like, you're asking like so-and-so at the desk, front desk or whatever about some, particular car or whatever. And they may not know. They may find someone who knows or whatever, or something or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah. But I've walked into some dealerships like straight out and like realized the receptionist is like, one, doesn't want to be there at all. And then two, like is not in the cars. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
But so what do you guys do there? Just kind of like, talk shop, or do you get, was there anything happening? Anything for sale, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so Avants, like I said, is still like they're trying to grow their San Diego side of things. So they're still, it's advertisement for them to, kind of bring folks in the door and kind of show them like, what they have access to and that kind of thing.
And what is Avant, by the way, for those who don't know?
It's like sort of like a membership-based car club, I guess you can say, that spans really all over the U.S. They have kind of concentration on the West Coast, so a lot of Washington, here now in San Diego, but in Arizona, a lot of, different events that they organize that's kind of under their umbrella. But they also have a lot of membership discounts, like with Discount Tire. I'm sure we're probably going to talk about tires at some point, hint, but they got a Discount Tire partnership, not McGuire's, but the Griot's detailing. If you've seen those,
so are they part of are they a magazine or something, or like a
so they
newsletter?
They do actually do a really cool, like I'm one of those where like it's been a while since I picked up like a car magazine and like actually
I don't think they even print them anymore. Do they print them anymore?
I go to Barnes and Nobles a lot now. Actually, that's the only time where I'll like spend some time reading a car magazine. They have a big
magazine wall over there, don't they? Like everything. Yeah. I remember Barnes and Noble. You can go there, get lots of different things like games, Legos.
Yeah, you can do all kinds. Yeah.
They had toys. They also had like records or vinyl records. They
have a really, really diverse. It's so much cooler to go to an actual record shop to buy records, but
Yeah.
But it's hard to like argue with the fact that they actually they have a lot of modern records of like, I know this is a tangent, but they have a lot of modern records of like things that you wouldn't like. Normally it's like, a song that came out or a record that came out 2 years ago, you would just get it on Spotify or get a CD, but
That's the
they actually have
convenience of it all.
vinyls of
But
that.
I've got vinyls. Yeah. I found a whole box of vinyls over there. I don't know where my actual record player is, but I don't have a way to hook it up to. I don't have any, like, all my gear from the old house that like I use to play music and like surround sound, all that stuff. It's all boxed up in the storage unit, and I don't need that for here. And I don't listen to a lot of, I may listen to music, but I don't listen to a lot of vinyl records. I don't have a turntable. Maybe if I had another house someday, maybe I'll have like maybe a vinyl, like a record room or like a parlor.
Have you seen those little like suitcase ones that they sell in like Target or Walmart? They look like a little suitcase.
I had Fisher Price one of those when I was a kid, I think.
Yeah. This is like a slight step up from the Fisher Price ones, but I'm not gonna lie. There was I've been getting into No Doubt a lot.
Oh, nice.
The band No Doubt.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, it's funny you say that. When I was just staying in Huntington Beach at a hotel, I forget what it was called, nice place. They had a record player in every room. And the records they had was the No Doubt Tragic Kingdom was the record. It was in the room, and I actually played it when I was staying there. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Their music, I don't know. I've been like getting some of their songs are just really like well produced, like so much range in it.
Oh yeah.
But I got one, I don't know if Spiderwebs is the actual album name, but it had Spiderweb on it. And we just sat like one day and just literally just let the record play and like flipped it to his B-side afterwards.
Oh, nice.
It was something cool about like actually sitting through a full album as opposed to like nowadays where we just listen to like our favorite songs on Spotify. Like,
well,
it was
mentioned
cool
Spotify a ton of times. I don't use Spotify for music at all. Like, I have sampled some stuff. Somebody sent me a link to something, a Spotify link, that kind of stuff. But I'm an Apple Music kind of guy or radio.
That's true. Yeah,
I'm Apple. I bleed Apple for the most part.
You're in the Apple ecosystem for sure.
Pretty much. I think I have an Apple tattoo, like right here, like.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, speaking of all of those platforms, this podcast is on all of those platforms. So
That's right.
Whatever you listen on, this is available. So
I can't believe how many shows like exclusively will do like YouTube or one or the other, or Spotify or mostly YouTube. I've seen a lot of guys do that or whatever. I'm like, why don't you on like all the platforms? It's so easy to do, and it's like. I mean, it sounds complicated. I get it. I mean, it always sounds complicated. But anyways, at this Avants event. Did you like interview anybody, talk to anybody, pass out business cards for Courage's, Driven Dad show and like that?
Yeah, no, I did meet a couple people and actually did do a small interview with my buddy Viraj, who I call a connector. His name is Viraj, and I told him like he has to buy an Aston Martin Viraj just because of that. He wants a toy.
It's a toy car version.
At least a toy, yeah, because he really wants a Vantage. He wants an Aston Martin, but he wants a Vantage.
Of course he does. Who doesn't, right? And I mean, it's where you got to go. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah. And shout out to him, awesome guy. He also has a British accent, so it just fits
James
as
Bond
well with it.
in the house. Get him on the show, by the way. I just want to hear, or have him phone in and say something like, Cool Cars with Chris is awesome or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I think he'll be one that would be down for that too. I'm gonna phone a friend on that one for sure. But
there's lots of ways to message me. You can email me, fly a kite, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
However you want to get it to me, phone call, whatever. It's all good. But that's super cool though. Like, going there, meet people. And you're all about the networking and going and seeing the cool car events. You've gone to way more like car events than I have had time to. And it's really cool seeing these people and talking to these people and getting a feel for their cars and their projects and what they want to do with their car and all that kind of stuff. Have you heard any like horror stories? Everyone said this car is a pile of crap. Stay away.
We were talking to one guy. He's in the Volvo scene. Because the Volvos had like some of those like really sporty models, like I always blank on their
70 or S70 or something like that.
70Rs, yeah, and like they're that sedan, and they have that really cool 5-cylinder engine that they performance engine.
Oh, right,
in a lot of things. As well as like a V8 that they were putting in some of their cars too. We were talking about how there's like this one like super unassuming sedan that they made that had a V8. You slap an exhaust on that thing and it just sounds like a straight up F1 car because because of like the design of the V8. But it's like so unassuming in every other way. But we were talking about a couple of brands of cars that, have like basically had horror story situations. And actually what came up was are you familiar with like the Alfa Romeo, the Giulias, the modern like 4-door Giulia sedans?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a really cool one that was there today because Doug DeMuro actually did a review recently on the Giulia Quadrifoglio, the like high performance, like basically the M3 competitor that came out, way back, now it feels way back. But a guy that one of the guys I was talking to was saying that a guy that he knows, had one, he's been loving it, but he started to run into some issues with it and just had a really bad dealer experience where, they were denying repairs on certain things or whatever. And he basically ended up being stuck footing the bill for a whole bunch of repair work on the car that, he's just going to have to kind of deal with because he doesn't want to sell the car. And I don't think he really can right now. Don't remember all the details, but yeah, it's weird that you mentioned that because I talked for a while on just all of the stuff he's dealing with replacement parts and things. Because unfortunately, the Chrysler, Fiat Chrysler realm of like car design and things, like they're just having so many issues that just kind of pop up randomly. They're great cars, but if you just so happen to get some that are having issues, it's not the best experience.
Lucky you get the lucky one. It's the same thing can be said about home ownership. Something owning a car and owning a home, very, very similar because things start breaking and need being replaced and things like that. Now, if it's really bad damage, you got insurance or insurance on the house, insurance on a car, kind of big accident kind of stuff. You know about that. And so same deal, And so when you get into that, like you get out of like the, I guess baby umbrella of the factory warranty, you're buying a car that obviously there's no warranty on it and paid cash like I bought for my Z. And so like anything major goes wrong with the car, like I got to pay out of pocket. I know I got to like find a place to get it fixed and all that kind of stuff. I guess it's the same thing with a house. If you own a house too, I own multiple houses and it's the same deal. If something happens, either like figure out how to get it fixed or know a guy or something or deal with it or whatever, or who knows what. But it's kind of one of those things for a car. I mean, if you want it running, you kind of have to like, you got to do these certain things to keep it going and heaven forbid something bad happens, Especially on a car, it's worth like a couple $1 million.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
When you're getting up there, or really just even if it's not crazy money, but still like it's just like parts and things are just like either very hard to come by or the parts themselves are just individually super expensive. And finding somebody to work on them a lot of times is you don't really know who to trust and. It gets hairy, but it is a very, very similar contrast with home ownership as well. I was literally, again, just talking to somebody about, when we're renting now, but when we first moved into this place, the AC, went out and luckily it was a really simple fix. But if, we were just moving in and we hadn't got everything dialed in with homeowners insurance and everything, just for them to come out and inspect it could easily be $500 to $1,000 to figure out what's wrong.
Well, sometimes too, 'cause I had home warranties on my other houses too, and I realized like I dropped it because they were very picky on who they wanted to bring out, and there was a delay, and sometimes they'd fix stuff, but then sometimes they would just not want to fix stuff, and sometimes they would just be like the guy they send out felt like he was irritated he was even being there, like I'm here to fix a freaking light bulb. What the hell is this? Like seriously, like a ceiling fan doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with it. He's taking the whole thing apart and I don't know what he did. They rewired something. Sometimes they're cool and they'll be cool about stuff. Sometimes they'll be jerks and stuff. So we're like, you know what? If we're going to do all that, because you got to pay for those warranties. They're not free. You got to pay for that. Plus you got to pay for them to come out here. I'm like, well, just like when they break, I'll just pay a guy or something, find a guy that will take care of it and pay the parts. And it's probably in the long run, probably cheaper if not the same amount of money. So, but warranties are a whole different thing. But so being that we are in the middle of summer right now as we record this episode, it is it's freaking hot. We are getting into the hot heat wave here in town. Next month, the month after that, it usually gets way hotter. I think the hottest month of the year here, I think, is September. Mid-September is when it gets hot. Funny, there's some time in October it gets hot. I used to call it Hot-tober when it got to summer. But no, this time of year, I always take a vacation. I always take a week off in the middle of July to record this because I know for a fact that my kids are out of school in July. So I figure if I'm going to take a vacation week during summer, I'm going to take a vacation week where we can physically all do something together, you know? And so that's what it's been for the last, like, gosh, I don't know how many years I've been taking summer vacations. And yeah, it's usually in July. So I was kind of finding want to go somewhere fun for vacation this year. And I was thinking like, well, Hawaii or Caribbean or whatever. I want something tropical, want something wet, want something fun. Other than just hanging out here at the pool, I want to go somewhere to a pool. I'm like, you know what? It just so happened, like, I was flipping through my email, and I went to Vegas last month, and I'm part of the MGM Rewards program over there. I guess because I just signed up for it because I had to get the deal for the last month's trip. And I was thinking about going back over there for the same trip, but I'm thinking like, well, I got this email saying I got 2 nights for free at the Mandalay Bay. I'm like, Mandalay Bay's great. Mandalay Bay's got a big giant pool, wave machine. They got a lazy river, and they're known for like the like tropical vibe. It feels like you're in a Hawaiian or Caribbean resort. That's the whole theme there.
And I'm always curious about that because I know you've sent me some videos here and there, but like, does in your opinion, does it really feel like when you're like in it and everything, does it feel like you're actually like in Hawaii or something of that sort, or do you still feel like you're in Vegas, but like it's a lot of water around you kind of deal? Like,
well, they have the walls and bushes built like Disneyland, right? You can't see when you're in Disneyland, you can't see the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? You see like the walls and the bushes around the perimeter. It's kind of like set up like that. There's walls and buildings and the big convention center and all that kind of around the perimeter. But they did do something that I seen when I was in Hawaii. I noticed this too. The beaches in Hawaii, in Waikiki Beach, they have palm trees growing right out of the sand, like right there on the beach. Like here in San Diego, the beaches has palm trees too, but they're like off, like not on the sand, but
there's grass and stuff.
Right, over by the grass parking lot area, kind of like off the sand section. But in Hawaii, the palm trees are like literally growing like out of the sand, like right there where the sand is at. They had that set up there just like that. It's a sandy area with palm trees coming out of the sand, just like they do in Hawaii or the Caribbean and stuff like that. So like that kind of stuff is kind of cool.
Kind of made it feel a little more.
Yeah, and the sand was real beach sand. It wasn't like, I don't know what it was like real sand.
Hopefully,
you know,
that paper or something.
Well, it felt like you're at the beach or whatever and that kind of deal. So that kind of vibe, but it was really crazy, crowded and all that stuff. So like, great, let's do that for our summer vacation. So the problem was I'm trying to figure out which vehicle, how am I going to get out there? Because I've already like booked the rooms. I got everything paid for in advance and all that stuff ready to go. Great. How am I going to get out there? Well, I've got the Z, which is only a 2-seater, and there's 3 of us. That's not going to work, you know? I'm like, I got to take a Z out there.
Can't do the one youngest in the hatchback.
Yeah, right. Got to sit on each other's laps or whatever. And so I'm like, well, I got my truck. My truck has gone out to Vegas. Last year, I went out to Vegas with my truck. And that was when I noticed the oil consumption with my Ford F-150. I have a Ford F-150 5.0 V8 engine with the Roush 4-wheel drive package. So it's got the Roush wheels and tires and the Coyote V8. It does not have the supercharger, so it's not supercharged. You know, and people are like, why don't you get supercharged? Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it's like, I don't know, having a supercharged vehicle like that, the truck's got plenty of power, but to put a supercharger on it, it's like, I don't know. It's like bragging rights. I'm not going to use it for anything. You know, I'm not going to drag race the truck or anything like that.
But
whatever.
that whine, though.
Yeah,
that supercharger whine.
I can play a soundtrack, of the sound effect of that for really wanted to. But anyways, so I'm thinking like, well, I'm gonna take a truck out to Vegas. It's been a while. A truck does have 75,000 miles on it, which some people say it's not a lot. Some people say that is a lot. Well, not for that truck, but for like, if you have like a BMW or something like that, if you get to 75,000 miles, you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to take it anywhere far or whatever kind of thing. I know, but some people are going to say, oh, my BMW has gone 200,000 miles, no problems or whatever. I mean, there's always outliers for everything,
Yeah.
And so before I went out to go to Vegas, I know it's going to be 110 degrees on the way out there. If you drive through the desert, through like Baker, with that section before you
get that thermometer that you pass by out there?
Yeah, 110 or whatever it says, 105, whatever. Just that whole stretch of section of desert, nothing, it gets really, really hot. And so I knew that going in there. And my tires are original. Well, they were original on my truck. The Roush package gave me like 20-inch Mickey Thompson rims with some kind of like general grabber off-road tires on there as part of their package. When we get the Roush package on the F-150, it comes with a few goodies. It comes with a sticker package, shocks, like a 2-inch lift, the rims, tires, and a few other like cosmetic things they give you on the Roush package. And it's okay, cool, great. But I knew my tires were getting up there in age. I mean, 75,000 miles on original tires of any kind is a long time. And so the first thing I do is I take it over to Discount Tire. I've gotten lots of tires at Discount Tire. I go over there and I know that they can check out the tires with a tool they have. I parked the truck, told the guy the situation, I'm going out of town. He just checked my tires, make sure they're like, can make it. Because I know I got to go out of town, 110-degree weather to the desert, and these tires are old or whatever. And he scans them and looks at me. Yeah, you got plenty of tread left. They look fine. You know, they're good for another 20,000 miles or whatever, as long as you keep everything local. I say, I'm going out of town, though. I'm going on a vacation, though.
Conveniently, yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, I think you'd be all right. Yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, you should be all right. Okay, sure. Yeah, you'd be good. Okay, great. So then I took the truck over to the Ford dealer to do a service package on the truck called the Works package. Basically, they rotate the tires, they change the oil, check everything. It's like an inspection kind of deal, but like more of like an oil change and tire rotation. Basically what it is. Mm-hmm. So I take it in there, you know, I have them do their thing, and then I pick the truck up or whatever, and the guy says, okay, your tires are shot. And he says they're dry rotted because they're old and they're shot. Yeah. And he says, you have literally no tread left. I'm like, how's that possible? I can see there's tread left.
Visually, like you can see that there's...
They're off-road tires, so they don't wear down as fast or as obvious as like a street tire would.
Yeah.
Because they have those deep, you know, off-road tread grooves, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, that's weird. Oh, he also says that one of the shocks was leaking or something like that too. I'm like, well, I'm leaving town in a couple of days. Like, now I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do? Like, I asked the guy, is he going to make it? Can I make it to Vegas in these tires or not? Said, maybe you can, but I wouldn't take it to Vegas. I wouldn't drive it to Vegas. Like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I'm leaving like the next, like in one day or whatever it was. Yeah. So then I go like the next day, the day before I leave, I think I go over to, back over to this Discount Tire. I told them what happened at Ford. I had please check them again and see what's going on because they're telling me one thing. You guys told me another thing. He said they're fine.
And see if that guy is there, the one you originally talked to.
So he checks the tires and says, yeah, the tread's fine, but they are really old tires because the truck's, I mean, it's not a new truck. They're original tires. And he says they wrote dry rot on the tires. That's what they wrote up. He said, yeah, you can see where they're cracking. And I can look in the tires in between like the grooves. You can see little spiderweb kind of cracks all over the place. When rubber gets old, it kind of has that spiderweb not on the sidewall, but on the actual tread part. And so I'm like, man, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like literally, what am I supposed to do? And I know this is an oddball size. If you guys can find these tires for me, if you guys have these tires, let me look them up. And he's looking for rim. He punched in the rim size and the tire size and all that. And he's looking through every kind of tire they have, like Discount Tires available for that truck. They're looking at all of them. And I'm like, he's looking, can't find them. And he found one. And he's outsourcing to all the different Discount Tires shops or warehouses they have access to. And so he found one in, I think, Chula Vista somewhere that had 4 tires. It's getting like later in the afternoon. And he says, I can get you these tires today installed before we close today at 6. So this is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon at this point, maybe 4 o'clock. And
did you basically you spent the whole time there while they were doing
no. So he was searching for the tires. He said he could find. I found 4 tires. Ironically, they are like literally like the most expensive tire for this wheel size. I kid you not. Like if you go on any tire forum, any tire shop at all, and you look at all the tire choices for this rim size, it's like at the tippy top of prices. And I'm like, if this is the only tires you can find for this truck. And like I didn't have to have like super off-road deep tread tires for my truck. Like I kind of wanted to go kind of middle ground. I kind of wanted to have something that was like something kind of street, but someone I could use off-road. They do have tires like that available. Like they do make tires for that size where they're kind of like, I guess you call it like an all-terrain, not all-terrain of what I'm thinking of, but it's like an in-between tire. You've probably seen them on trucks. They're not quite street, but they're not quite off-road. They're kind of a blend between the two. These are not these. These are like straight, like I'm going to go take this trip to Baja kind of tires. And so I said, if these are the ones you got, I'm leaving town tomorrow. Literally, I need tires. So let's just ring it up and do it. I'll just put on a credit card and figure it out later. I'm thinking, okay, because that's my biggest concern. Going out to the desert on tires that are like 8 years old or 7 years old, whatever it was, that have been dry rotted. Plus they, like their tread's low and, so, I mean, all the things I'm like, maybe that it'd be good if, I had some decently new tires on there, especially going through 110 degree weather. Like that, I think always kind of worries me when it's so freaking hot and tires blowing. Cause like if you go through like you've driven out that way before, there's miles and miles of heat and nothing, like nothing. There's like miles of literally nothing.
And when tires, like when it's hot and everything, like tires expand and, that heat, especially if you are getting cracking in tires, like, it definitely, it is conducive to like having some kind of blowout or something like that. So
and that was the biggest fear with the kids in the car, having a blowout in the middle of the 110 degree weather in the middle of nowhere. And that's why I was like, I'll just pull the trigger, get new tires. Fine, whatever. The shock, I haven't had a chance to have somebody else look at the shock yet. I don't know the stories on that.
And usually like a leaking shock, like, that's something that you can kind of, fix when needed. Like that usually isn't like going to be catastrophic per se, unless like it's just really bad. But
right.
Yeah,
and I'm not noticing anything with that. Like I'm going over speed bumps, I'm driving anything. I'm not noticing anything really with the thing. So I'm not hearing any clunking or nothing. I'm not noticing any signs of that. And so
I am curious with those tires though, because I know like sometimes when you see folks with like really heavy off-road tires, they get that road noise.
Yeah,
from
it did have it. I did. The first thing I noticed when I drove it home that same day, I noticed that noise, or noticing it and that kind of stuff. Like, well,
yeah,
okay, it is a thing, and stuff. It does get that kind of noise. There are brand new tires, that sort of thing. I mean, they were like brand new tires. The guy showed me like these tires.
He showed me a picture of them. Like,
well, not only are they brand new, but like he showed me. I didn't know this, but I guess tires have like born on dates on tire. I didn't know this, so he showed me to me. He said, "Yeah, these tires are 2026 tires.
Yeah,
the tires had on previously are 2018 tires.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how old the other tires work. I guess it tells you the age of a tire. So that's why it's not necessarily like the tread depth that you want to replace it at. It's also
age. Yeah,
the age of the tire." Just like because rubber ages and that kind of stuff and that kind of thing. So I was kind of worried about that. But that literally was not the worst thing
really
to happen on this trip. And so my truck, it's a Ford F-150 with their amazing 10-speed transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my other truck had a 6-speed transmission, which I absolutely loved. Had never had a single problem with it, These 10 speeds are known for have issues and things like that pop up. And Ford puts these transmissions in like literally everything, from the Bronco to the Explorer to the Mustang to my truck. I think even the 250 gets put in there too. The 10-speed. I'm assuming it's the same one. I mean, how many 10 speeds do you think they got laying around the place? It's got to be the same transmission.
Well, and I have to fact check it too, but I believe that 10-speed was co-developed with GM as well.
I believe so. I think I've heard some. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about though. So my truck has a 10-speed transmission, which has got all these crazy different modes on the truck. It's got the regular mode, it's got the snow mode, it's got the towing and hauling mode, and it's got the sport mode, and it's got the eco mode, right? And so usually for a long road trip, I usually or any time I get on the freeway, really, I put the truck in eco mode. And eco mode tries to keep the RPMs like low. It shifts very early, keeps the RPMs very low most of the time to keep the gas mileage fairly low and that kind of thing or whatever. So on flat land, cruising on the freeway, usually it's fine.
You're like 9 to 10 pretty much most of the time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does kind of want to like keep the truck at like a lower RPM and kind of like, it's just kind of the way it's designed or whatever. Now I've used it before. I took it out to Vegas last week and I'm last year. And so I'm driving out to Vegas and it's 110 degrees or whatever it is outside. And I got the cruise control on and I got it cruising and we are at, I'm in eco mode and I'm probably doing 70 or so or whatever on the freeway and I'm hitting because there's some spots of the mountain passes where it's like, It's flat and it's hilly. You go up a hill, you go down a hill, you go up a big hill, down a hill, right? And so, are you familiar with the like mountain range on the 15 freeway right before you dip down to like, there's like 2 valleys before you get to like state line? Because you could kind of come down this big giant hill right before you get into the state line section. And there's a couple of valleys of hills you got to go through, like kind of where Baker's or the big thermometer is, kind of that stretch right there or whatever. And so I'm climbing a big, giant, massive hill. It's like a big, steep hill. And I'm, get the thing cruise control. I'm flying around people. And I think it was a spot where I had to like let off the throttle and speed up again or get on the brakes because I was getting around somebody and someone's in front of me getting slow or something like that on this hill and it's hot outside. And I think I killed the cruise control. I turned it off and I'm still in eco mode, of course. And I start using the throttle to kind of get up the hill, kind of get going here.
Just random question. Do you have adaptive cruise control?
This truck does not have that. No,
doesn't have it.
It does not have that. It does have the emergency, I think it has the emergency braking system.
Yeah, like if you're
going to crash, I think, or get close, it will alert something. I think it has that. I've seen it come on a few times when it jumped out of shadow or something like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that. So I let it go, and then I started using the throttle to go up this hill here. Now I'm in eco mode, and I'm trying to use the gas pedal, and I'm using the gas pedal, and the transmission starts doing gear hunting.
Oh.
Do you know what gear hunting is?
Yeah, it's like kind of, and what is it while you're like in climbing as well, where it's like kind of. Yeah.
I'm trying to climb the hill, and the truck starts gear hunting like crazy. It didn't know what gear to be in. It kept going up and down, couldn't shift up, down. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this thing? And I'm climbing this big steep hill. It's 110 degrees outside, and so I'm like, what the hell's going on? And when I kind of come to the crest of the hill, I slipped until I slipped out of gear completely.
Shoot.
It's 109 degrees. And so I go into, 2 things I do on my truck that I can do. Because I have Apple CarPlay. And the reason I use Apple CarPlay is important because I have a ChatGPT account. I mean, most people do. But I have mine linked up to my truck so I can ask it live interactions.
While you're driving.
Oh, I'm driving all the time. I have a virtual. By the way, they did have a new update on this thing with this new female voice. Very interactive, very friendly, very much sounding like a person than I've ever experienced with any other kind of AI voice in my life.
There's something about doing that, like not to derail, but like I wear my Meta glasses around pretty often. And I just figured out how to change the voice on the Meta glasses when it talks to you, and I changed it actually to Judi Dench's voice from James Bond.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, everybody has their preferences or whatever. This one I can't change because it's if you look up ChatGPT's new AI voice, it's like I saw a whole YouTube video about this.
Yeah,
and it's the new voice and the new things and stuff, and it can do multitasking and it can talk to you like a human. It can do things in the background while you're having a conversation. It can remember the conversation. It can anyways, it's very interactive. And so I fire that thing up while this is happening. And on my truck, I can go and check the temperature of the transmission. Now, it's a gauge I don't usually keep up on the dash very often, but on that day I did. And so I checked it, and it was reading 235 degrees on the transmission. Already had slipped out of gear. I'm feeding all this information verbally to ChatGPT, and it's verbally telling me back, you need to shut the car off right now, and you need to pull over the side of the road and shut it down. I told it was slipping. I told it was hot, 109 degrees outside. Transmission's 235. That's dangerous for the transmission. And so I slow down on the kind of the downhill crest of the hill I was on, and I pull over to the side, and it tells me that what you need to do, you need to bring the transmission down to the low 200s. And the way you got to do that is you got to put the vehicle in park and let it idle, because it's going to run the transmission fluid through the transmission cooler, I guess, while it's running. You can't shut it off because the transmission won't the fluid won't cool down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I had to do, and sat there. And I sat there, in the freaking, turned the AC off too, by the way, but 109 degrees. Turn the AC off. So I turned the AC off. We're sitting on the side of the freeway, on 15 freeway, hot. But, all the windows were down, so I had a nice kind of breeze kind of going through the truck as we're sitting there waiting for it. And I'm panicking because I'm thinking oh crap, we're going to be stranded. The transmission's done. We're just outside, maybe just outside of the state line area on that little hill valley area section. And so when I finally got down to like 205, and I was talking to ChatGPT about it, and she says, wait till it gets down to 205, 200 or whatever. And then when you do go, take it easy, and then keep it in normal drive mode the entire time. Do not use eco mode. And so I did that all the way to Vegas. It went down the hill because another hill it went down. It dropped down to like 194, 195, but then I hit the valley. It brought back up to like 203, 200 range or whatever. And usually stayed around 203 by the time I parked the thing in the parking garage. And so I did that. And the entire weekend, I was basically like looking up and trying to see what like, I just interacting with ChatGPT about all the symptoms, what to do, I'm worried, like, how do I get home now?
Yeah.
Because I'm now, in Las Vegas. Great. Like it says, take it to a service shop and whatever. Like, I don't got time for that. I got time for a service shop. We're only here a couple of days. And, I'm worried. Like, I know I got to climb mountains on the way back. I got to go over these hills on the way back. Like, how am I going to do it getting back? Like, how am I going to get home with this truck? Like, I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if the transmission's shot. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so it told me basically what it said is how I got back. Is it told me that on your drive back, do not use eco mode at all. Keep it in normal mode for the flats. But when you hit a hill, switch it into tow haul mode. And the way tow haul mode is designed, it keeps the RPMs, it locks the RPMs in, kind of holds gears for pulling and things like that. Keeps the torque range in the right spot, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not really gear hunting or whatever like it was before with the eco mode.
Yeah.
And so I did that and I'm back. So
you made it. Yeah.
So I made it all the way back to town, but I was so worried about that. I'm thinking like, damn it, next time I'm getting a rental. Like I was so close to just getting a rental for this entire trip, and yeah.
Well, that is interesting when you fully explain, like what ended up solving it, because it does sort of make sense that like if you're in eco mode, because it's again eco mode is trying to force you to be in the highest gear possible at all times,
and also keep the RPMs really low
keep them really low. And it makes sense that would, like, especially in that high heat, that it would really stress your transmission, because a lot of those, like, as you probably know, like a lot of the gear ratios, like above 6, like are pretty, like they're pretty super close ratio gears. And it's like almost like barely probably any like difference. And when you shift from 7th to 8th, like you're barely like the RPMs aren't changing much at all. And I bet, with the added like heat factor and everything, that the car just was like, all right, am I in 8th? Am I in 7th? And it's like kind of going back and forth between that. And then on top of that, with like trying to just kind of, pull the truck up the hill in like a really, really low RPM versus like, when you're obviously in your torque band, like being higher.
Right.
All of those things kind of seem to lend towards that making sense. Although, like, I feel like there should have been some kind of warning from the transmission.
There was no warning lights at all. No warning. Yeah. The truck had no warning lights at all. Nothing on it at all. It just fact that like
instead of just going haywire, pretty much.
Right. It just was jumping around gears, and then all of a sudden, like I said, it was just like all of a sudden it was not in a gear at all. It was like I'm hitting the gas pedal, like nothing's happening. I'm like, what the hell?
And that's the scare, because right there you're just thinking, my transmission's gone. Like
that was what I thought it was gone. And I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna cruise it down to. I'm gonna pull over and slow it down. I kind of slowed down to the side. Pulled over, and I did see it eventually. I think I put it in park, and then I was able to put it in park. Thank God for that. And then I didn't shut it off. I call her Chatty for ChatGPT. So Chatty was telling me to just let it idle and stuff. And if you ever had a chance to check out the new chat version on Chatty, it's very interactive. It's almost like it was the first time I used it. I swear to God, I thought like I was talking to another person. Like I was like, who are you? Like, where'd you come from? Like, did I call somebody on accident?
Yeah, did I accidentally hit like I know Chevy's got All-Star,
All-Star, you can talk to somebody or whatever. But the new chat thing, it does like these and really, that's interesting. Let me think about that. It does those kind of things, As you're talking to it, it'll like you interrupt you can interrupt it mid-sentence, and it's like, oh, no worries, it's like a regular conversation, which is weird. So, anyways, I made it back, keeping it in the tow haul mode, and I noticed it did not jump around. But I was watching the temperature on the transmission. It said, make sure you watch the temperature. It had on display. In fact, it's still on display in my truck right now. The temperature of the
yeah, that's like one of your main gauges now.
Now I'm like, that's all I'm watching now. Is I used to keep the because all the Ford F-150s have this like jumping like miles per gallon thing. It tells you what your active miles per gallon are. And I used to keep it at that all the time. Screw that. Now I'm watching the temperature on the transmission. And so coming back, the transmission never got above 205. And that was like on a hill in tow mode, which is good. And it was telling me like when it gets in the 220 range, that's when you need to pull over. Like I was already at 235 when I pulled over. And that's when things were like really cooking. It says when you get to like 250 range, your transmission's like I don't know. Like I was asking it if there is like a limit for the temperature of the transmission fluid. And it doesn't say that. I couldn't find that. Because I know that on like synthetic oils, you can go like 300 degrees on synthetic oils. They're rated for that kind of stuff. That's why like my car says it's like 260 or whatever it is for that kind of stuff. Oil can get that kind of hot. And, it does lose probably it's like, oilness.
It's probably really, really thin at that point.
Yeah, and then it probably starts to breaking down and getting stuck, getting burnt, that kind of stuff. So with transmission fluid, I just had the transmission flushed out like maybe not even a year ago. So it's got fairly new, newish transmission fluid in there. And so I'm like, well, it's new transmission fluid and stuff, but 235 is really cooking it for sure. And if you get in the 250s, you're pretty much like you're toast,
Yeah.
And so that's why I was kind of worried about that and being out there in the middle of nowhere. But from now on, I'm not going to. I drove the truck today around town and stuff, and I'm like watching every little thing it does. Like I noticed, what did it just do? Oh, did it shift kind of hard? Was there a shift thing or was it whatever? Like every little thing.
And that's the thing. Like you just get so hype when something like that happens. You just go so hyper aware to that situation that like you just it's hard to focus. But to be totally honest, like you probably now know more about like just in general, like safe operating temperature and things about your transmission than the majority of F-150 owners or car owners in general when it comes to like these automatic transmissions.
Well, the thing is, a lot of these automatics now, like mine's got all the different modes on them. All the new ones have all these different drive modes, and you think like, oh, I'll put it in the eco mode or whatever and that kind of stuff or whatever mode it is kind of thing. My other truck, it only had two modes. It had regular mode, just regular driving. And there was a little button you pushed on the shift column. It put in like tow haul mode, whatever that was. And that's really all I had on my other truck. And manual mode where I can upshift, downshift. In fact, I did ask ChatGPT, Chatty, I said, hey, what if I put the truck in manual mode on the way home? I said, don't do that. Oh, okay. Well, I won't, so I was like, not a wise idea. So just keep it in the tow haul mode for the hills and then keep it in normal mode for the like flat sections. And that's exactly what I did. And I had to put
some consumer advice for anybody with honestly a GM Ford product with that 10-speed transmission. Like, especially because I guess curious, the last time you went to Vegas, did you keep it in eco the whole time with no issues? Or?
I think I did.
Were temperatures anywhere near what they were on this trip though?
Well, they were, but here's the caveat. On the way over, the last trip over to Vegas, on the way out was at night. Like we didn't get there like 1 a.m. It was like dark night. And then on the way back, it was like all traffic through that hot section, like bumper to bumper traffic. It was just, and I didn't even pay attention to the transmission temperature. I didn't think I had to.
Because you were stop and go and
I didn't think I had to. And also, stop and go traffic does bring up the temperature pretty quickly. I'm starting to notice this too. Because I'm watching the temperature now, I'm kind of noticing that like even running around town, it can get up to 200 degrees within maybe like a few miles of running around stop and go, especially when it's warm outside, that sort of thing. But to go like into like the 220 range or 230 range or 250 range, you're toast at that point. And so Chatty suggested that I go and take it to a shop immediately when I get back into town. I've not done that yet. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it for now. I don't know if it was a one-time thing or if the transmission's really shot or what the deal is. I really don't know. It is going through the gears though. So one thing that because my parents have had transmissions go out on their vehicles. Like I called them, I asked them what are the signs that yours went out? Like what happened to your transmission? And my dad said, I think it went to like first or second gear and wouldn't go up beyond that. It would just be like RPMs running, would not shift. Like almost like it locked itself into that gear and that was all it had. And so mine did not do that. Like I've noticed it goes up because I can tell on my truck, you can see the different numbers of what gear you're in. And you can see it like highlight as it goes through the different gears, like 1 to 10. It highlights and sometimes it jumps. If you're going like quickly up or quickly down, it'll jump the thing. And so I'm noticing it's going all the way through them and all the way go back down again. And that's a good sign because it is physically going through the gears. You can see it going up and it's going down fairly smoothly. No clunks, no hesitation, no getting stuck in a certain gear. And that's the thing too. See, it's not doing any of that stuff. And most importantly, no check engine lights. There's no warning lights or check engine lights of any kind on my truck. Not at all this weekend. So I wonder if there is, I'm sure there is a dummy light. Like I know
probably in the clear, but it's like, it is interesting that because I mean, all of now, like, especially with those transmissions, like they're so computer based now.
Oh
like,
yeah, totally.
You would think that there's something that would clue in outside of, again, just it kind of freaking out and going haywire that even if it's not a transmission, like you have a TCU, like something in the TCU should probably be flagging the overall ECU and the overall system to say, hey, something's wrong right now. Like, in some type of warning outside of just overheating and freaking out and not understanding how to even handle the situation. So
it may have been my fault for keeping it eco mode in a hot day like that.
I mean, it's not like it's in the owner's manual or anything. So I would highly doubt that you could blame you for that.
But I've always put my truck in eco mode around town on the freeway. Always keep it. If I go on like the trip to Disneyland or whatever, in my truck or wherever I would go, this truck has not gone very far. Like I've only taken it to Vegas one other time, and this time, that's it. And so my previous F-150, I took that thing to Vegas probably like 10 times, like all the time. Of course, it had a different transmission. It had the 6-speed transmission. And it got great gas mileage for the most part. And it was a great, Vegas trip vehicle. I mean, it didn't have like Apple CarPlay like this one does, but still like it was a great truck. I miss that truck for those kind of for the simplicity it had, And it was great. Same engine, 5-liter, like just like this. Well, this one's a newer version, but same concept, and all that. And it did a fairly decent job going out there. I took it to Vegas like about 10 times during the summer. Temperatures just like this, and I never had a problem with it. Like with that, anyways, I never had a problem at all. And so,
if Jim Farley's listening, I think you might have stress tested your transmission and found something that even the engineers probably didn't test out and find out on their own that should probably be looked into a little bit more now. Because like that it seems like it was just kind of a perfect storm scenario of like, just super high heat situation. Like, again, you're driving the car like you normally would. Like, you're using a mode that you shouldn't have a problem using it in.
But I think when you hit a hill, when you're climbing a hill, like you're steep inclines and through the mountain pass, 110 degrees, whatever it was, and you're climbing, I was trying to keep like a decent clip speed-wise. I was trying to keep it like 70, 75, range,
But at the lowest RPM possible to achieve.
Well, and then I was trying to shift out of that RPM and trying to find, because naturally, if you instead of stalling the vehicle, the transmission is going to like obviously downshift so you don't stall. And I think it was trying to do that, but then I think the computer and maybe because of the transmission was so damn hot that it was like, well, we can't shift or whatever. It's kind of going back and fluttering back and forth. Couldn't figure out what gear to be in, how to shift, what it was doing. Then all of a sudden, if like the transmission completely went out altogether on me, and I was like, man, I'm screwed city. And that's kind of the panic kind of set in a little bit. I was like, oh crap, and then I got ChatGPT on the screen the entire time. I'm telling her all this crap. I'm
you might, the sponsor of the podcast today being chatty, because you might have convinced me to maybe give it a shot, being able to just have that type of diagnostic scenario on the go.
I didn't even know. Like, I was explaining everything that was going on. It told me to check out this, told me to put it in park. It told me to run the truck for 10 minutes or whatever in park, AC off, everything off, and just kind of, let the temperature, watch the temperature on the truck. My truck did have the transmission temperature. I noticed that my truck had that feature, but I never knew what it was for. And now I do.
Yeah.
because I never knew about the transmission. I mean, I didn't think about it. It's things you don't think about. You get a car, newer car, you get in the thing, you drive, you have fun, you get gas, whatever, maybe oil changes. But you don't think about like, oh, I got to put it in transmission. I got to check the transmission temperature while I'm going through the desert. Now, this is probably for like if I was towing a boat or a trailer with a truck.
Do not do that in eco mode.
No, you got to put that in towing haul mode. That's why they have a tow haul mode on the truck. It's for towing and hauling. It says right there. It's what it's for. And so you put it in that, and it seems to didn't want it down. Like I was on the hills in the tow haul mode. It did not want to like upshift to like it held the gear like
it would hold it
through the hills and stuff like that. And it would upshift. It wouldn't try to like quickly get up to 10th gear all of a sudden on like a hill or whatever kind of deal. And so it did seem to work fairly well, and the shifts were fairly smooth. It only shifted between like 8th, 9th, and 10th for the most part, or 8th and 9th, or 7th. I think some of the hills it was holding 7th on some of the hills. And
when you were in eco?
No, when I was in
when you were in
tow mode. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was in eco mode, to tell you the truth. Usually it's in 10th for the most part when you're cruising, that kind of thing. But it does downshift. I noticed I've been in eco mode on the freeway before, and I've hit in some hills, and like it'll downshift, whatever and stuff. So I didn't think nothing of it. I thought, well, okay, whatever. But like I said, it could be a perfect storm of all the events happening: the heat, the hill, the transmission temperature being crazy hot too. Man, so I was so worried coming back, let me tell you. And like I said, I was watching that temperature gauge like a hawk, and what worried me is some parts where it hit traffic, bumper to bumper traffic on some hills. And like I said, it still didn't go above 205. Yeah. And I was like, man. Thank God for that. It held it, and I made it home safely. And, so here I'm thinking the tires were the worst part. The worst thing to think about, And
eventful trip for sure.
And I didn't even think about it. I even brought extra oil because I know my truck burns oil, right? So I brought 2 extra quarts of oil with me and a little funnel in a bag in the truck. And I even checked the oil before I left. Oh, that's another thing it told me to do. Before I left town, the truck sat in the parking garage for the 3 days or whatever we were there, right? And so it says, look for puddles of transmission fluid under the truck. Look for signs of anything like that on the truck. And I did. Nothing. Saw nothing under the truck. And the truck was sitting there for a few days. Nothing. That's good. But let me check the oil. So I checked the oil too. It was, just had it topped. I just had it changed like the other day. So it was perfectly full, because that truck does burn oil. So I was worried about that too. So maybe, and it was fine. So, but leaving town, like I said, I was like watching that freaking gauge like a hawk. And I was like, just kind of being hyper aware of every shift point the truck was making. I took it really, and Chatty says, take it nice and easy, getting going on the freeway. The main objective is just to get home, and not do anything crazy. And so that's,
shout out to Chatty. She was the MVP.
That's right. So I made it home, and I made it back, and I drove it this weekend too. So I've been driving the truck around. Haven't driven the Z around all week since last week or whatever it was. But both vehicles do have fresh oil in both vehicles, gotten changed on both in the same week. That's taken care of. But dude, it was very interesting. It makes me wonder, like, you know what? Maybe I think from now on I'm just gonna rent a car. If I have to drive anywhere further than say like Disneyland, or Knott's Berry Farm, or anything like that. Anything is like that range. Because what scares me is going through the damn desert is that like there's nothing out there. I mean, nothing. Yeah. And it's hot. And if you break down.
That's and I think that's a big factor, in it, because I'll be traveling doing a pretty big. I mean, hopefully at this point, I know depending on when this comes out, I should have my car back by that point. But we're supposed to be driving the out to Monterey in a month or so, give or take. And we did it last year, no issues or anything. Like there's a couple like kind of hill climbs and like little mountain passes that you kind of had to drive through, which was pretty entertaining to get through and roll through there. But I feel like even with that drive out to Monterey, like you're never really in an instance where you're just like, you just feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere. like you're at least like, a good like 30 minutes to 45-ish maybe to like some hub where you could get to. But
If you had a
like,
tow or something like that, like if you get a tow truck out, like
Mhm.
where would they tow you to?
I mean, yeah, it would be pretty inconvenient, like with us loaded up with two kids and
Well,
the family in the
it's
car.
never
But
convenient,
yeah,
that's the thing I was thinking with me. It's never convenient. Like I didn't know, like if I just leave the truck out there, like take it to a shop or whatever. How do I get home? Do I catch flights? Do I get a rental car myself
Yeah.
and rent a car, get home, and then spend money on that and that kind of thing. And so, I mean, this is just after coming off spending a ton of money on tires. I'm like, man, what?
Yeah, that's also the perfect storm is like dealing with all of that, and then thinking about all of what this might entail now too as well. I imagine like the mind spinning around like what else can go wrong on this trip kind of deal.
Right. And I did not win any money in Vegas, which is a big bummer. I was thinking like, oh man, I'll win
7 cents. Yeah, is something.
That's all I got left. All my money I spent on Vegas, but I didn't win nothing, dude. It's like I guess I get it now. Like, I mean, Vegas is not for like. I used to gamble a lot. I used to gamble the tables a lot, but now I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll switch back to the slots because. Not like I win on either one of them. And the same thing with the slots, I think you build up points faster on your rewards card. So you get like free rooms and freebies and things like that. You get those quicker with the slots than you do with like the tables, I think. That sort of thing. But I was hoping maybe win some big jackpot enough to like buy a new truck or something like that or whatever. I'm like totally
like it just so happens to be like the reward is like some truck or whatever.
Well, not just that, but like just have enough money to like say I go out to Vegas on this trip, right? The truck dies and I can't, and I just happen to play and I win some big jackpot and it basically pays for a new truck kind of thing, I mean, I'm daydreaming here, Joe. I'm just like, dreaming this, or whatever. But yeah, that was a fun, event out to Las Vegas. But I think I said next time if I have to go anywhere further like Vegas or anything like that, I'm gonna try to rent a car or fly. Like that's because if a car breaks down, it's their deal.
I mean, I'm in a rental right now, and like it's kind of that mentality where we've driven a lot in that thing over the last even like handful of days, and it's like made my miles, so it's nice honestly being able to just kind of be in something that you're not worried about having issues with, but. Yeah, no, I mean it does make you think on like certain type drives and things like that, longer drives. You do kind of weigh that up a little bit more as the car gets up there in age. I mean, personally, I think your truck's got you got life in it.
Oh
but
yeah.
But I definitely can kind of concur with that, especially in scenarios where you're out in the middle of nowhere and what you have to deal with in that situation. I'm like, maybe it does make sense, and there's nothing interesting on like the Vegas drive, to be honest. Like the most interesting part I feel like on the Vegas drive is like seeing like the Six Magic Mountain little thing.
Yeah, you drop down the valley there. It's like it's on the Nevada side. Yeah,
or like seeing like Speed Vegas, like when you
that's
come
where it was. It was
like,
before that. Yeah, so
right before that,
the hill I was on was I think right. If you know where that Z6 road is at, that road.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I know I passed that. So it was right after that is when the whole transmission went haywire. There's another hill, I think, beyond that. I went up, and that's where it went out on me or got all screwy. And so somewhere in that section there is where it gets really hot in that whole area there. You know how hot it gets over there. And so
they got a thermometer there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not there, but somewhere there.
Yeah. So I mean, I made it back, and I'll take a truck to work tomorrow, and I mean, driving local, it's not big of a deal. I think the thing is too is that like, I mean, the truck might get to 200 degrees, 203 getting to work if it's a really hot day or whatever. But I can't imagine getting into 230s like I did before, and that's just like crazy because Chatty was telling me you got to shut the thing off like right now. You got to like pull.
But now
it, like,
right now,
now,
which is like a good thing. Like,
well, I had no idea. I had no idea that those temperatures meant something, and I had no idea that like what. I've always watched the oil temperature on my car because my car, like the Z's are known to have high oil temperatures and they go into like limp mode when they get up there in the temperature. And then there's an oil temperature gauge like right on the 3 gauges on the cluster on the dash. One of them is the oil temperature, and it's there for a reason because they know that like your oil gets hot. Okay, great. So I'm watching that thing, I'm seeing it, right? But the transmission temperature I don't even think about because, I mean, I just don't think. I mean, transmissions are a mystery to me, like how they work. And have you seen them being taken apart? I've seen lots of videos of companies taking them apart and putting them back. All the different rings and all the lube and all the different there's like a million different rings they put in there in those things when you put them back together. I don't know what the stuff even does or how it works. It's all magic, for I'm concerned.
It's a black box, man.
It is, and I know they charge a lot to get them fixed. I know that that transmission in my truck's probably $10,000 by itself. I don't even know. You know, and I'm thinking like, great, man, I got to pay for a new transmission now or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially being out in the middle of nowhere. Like
where am I even going to pay for this new transmission?
Right. And I'm thinking like, at the time, I'm thinking like a tow truck from where I was broke down, like a tow truck to the nearest, like whatever town there is. I don't know
have you ever seen the original
Vegas vacation?
No, I was thinking Harold and Kumar.
To go to White Castle?
Yeah, if you the original one where like they run into that tow truck driver that owns like a shop, some random place, and like dude's like in typical like what you would expect, like a tow truck driver, overalls and everything, missing teeth, like that's what you would expect, in a situation like that,
right? But I think a tow would be like a $500 tow, and then you get to some random shop and like we got to order this part, we'll get it to like next month or whatever, and it's like $12,000 or whatever, and then like another $12,000 to install it, and then you're down out of the truck for a month or whatever.
Yeah, but you can stay with Betsy down the street until it comes in.
We'll give you the loaner. The loaner was like something from like a 1930s, like half running kind of car or whatever. No, but I just luckily I made it back, and I'm gonna keep an eye on the truck and see, making sure that like nothing else happens to the thing. I mean, it's a great truck. I love that truck. I mean, I love it. I've had it for a long time. I love that truck, and I'm well out of warranty. I'm out of warranty, not by like a ton, but I am out of warranty by what is like 15,000 miles. Because they usually give you 60,000 miles on the transmission. Well, I'm out of years too. I guess I'm beyond the years. They either give you the years or they give you the miles.
Years or the miles.
Whatever comes first, and I've already got past the years. So, but they're pretty good trucks, and I like the F-150s, and I'll probably buy another one when I go upgrade to the next truck. I'm sure, unless some another company's truck, has got features that I want and stuff. I don't know. Like, I mean, they are one of the number one best-selling, if not the best-selling vehicle in the country. The Ford F-150. They're definitely number one selling truck for like 50 years.
Even over like Ram, and I'm not actually surprised now when I said that out loud, but yeah.
Yeah, like they have it on like their like window sticker. It's like a bragging thing they have posted, like number one best-selling truck in 40 years or whatever it is kind of thing and stuff. And I heard someone say the reason why they're so popular or somebody that sells so many units is because a lot of like construction companies and fleets and that kind of
fleets are big,
they buy them for that kind of stuff, so that's a big chunk of it or whatever. But they also have so many variable versions of the truck, like more than some of the other competitors do. Like you can get that what's the Mexican GTR? You can get like a base model, like nothing stripped, like XL model with like bench cloth seats and like a single cab, or you can get like fully loaded, like, Raptor or whatever kind of thing. Raptor R with the, you can go that far extreme, or you can go like a street version. They've got like that platinum version. Which some of these, like some of these versions of the Ford F-150, like the platinum, like the King Ranch, and there was another one I can't think of, but like those versions, like, are so luxurious on the inside.
The King Ranch is like something, man. Like,
you think you're sitting inside a BMW or Mercedes. Like just the material, like, but a lot of them do that now. Toyota's got a version. It's like they're like 1794, 84, like whatever ranch version. They got a version of that too. I'm sure Chevy's got a version. I'm sure Dodge has got a version of this kind of stuff. It's like the most luxurious version of these trucks you can get because people buy these things as far as like their regular like cars for road trips, for hauling groceries, or maybe towing a boat or whatever. But they are getting so luxurious. It's like nuts. And I think Ford is really kind of like, paved the way for how luxurious a full-size pickup truck should be. They used to be like that. And my truck, I wouldn't consider it luxurious, but it's got a lot of features that, most luxury cars kind of have, like seat warmers, for God's sakes. Like my truck has seat warmers in my truck. Hey, does your car have seat warmers in your car?
It does, yeah.
Okay. So it's like a plush feature. My other truck didn't have that, The Z definitely doesn't have. My Z's base model doesn't have nothing. But But yeah, dude, it's nice to be back home. It's great to have the truck running, and it seems like it's working. So
Successful. One random fun fact about Vegas that came to mind when we were talking about that, though, like the different landmarks coming across. You know that hotel that like is actually no longer a hotel, going like right. I think it's the Prim one.
yeah, and Prim is, I guess, like the area. And I think maybe they named the main company that owns the casino. You're talking about Buffalo Bills and the other one across the street. Yeah. You drove by it, yeah, it's a ghost town or whatever. I mean, the roller coaster's still there. It's a ghost town or whatever. I mean, where that place, I actually stayed there one time. And
you stayed at the hotel?
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, yeah, one time, because my wife and I, we just got married, and not my first wife when I had kids with. We were going out to Vegas for my birthday weekend, and we were staying at the Venetian. But my mom used to get us free rooms because she gambled a lot. So she got us a free room at the Venetian. And we had me going out there, my friend going out there, her friend going out there. We're all staying in one room because it was like a suite or whatever. Yeah. But I decided to go out there because I had some time off. So I figured we would go out a day early. I said, let's go out the day early. Let's stay at Buffalo Bills. It was literally $20 just to stay there, right?
Really? How many years ago was this?
Oh, gosh. This is probably, we got married in 2008. So I guess 2008, 09 or whatever. Yeah. And so it was it was like a Thursday or Wednesday. So it was a Wednesday or Thursday. So it was not like a weekend night, whatever. There was me and one other car in the parking lot. It was like nobody there. So here I am gambling in the hotel there at the Buffalo Bills. And I'm like, I gotta curb myself. I hate to lose all my money before we get to Vegas. Before we get into town. So I'm like, what am I doing? I played a little bit there, but I'm like, I gotta stop. And that's what I did that weekend. We went to the clubs and had a blast, and it was great that weekend. But yeah, $20 to stay there. What it was, I remember. Yeah. It was the rooms weren't special.
Now you could just walk in.
After the homeless, I don't think any homeless over there. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, that would be a very, very tough spot to be a homeless person for sure.
In the desert or in Vegas. I did see them in Vegas. There are homeless people in Vegas. I did see them, but I don't know where they go to. During the day or when it's hot or what the deal is or whatever. But
But yeah, just fun fact, I have a video. I don't think it's still up on my YouTube channel actually anymore, but an early video that I made, it was actually on a Vegas trip that I was going to, and I filmed a couple of little B-roll shots right there in front of the roller coaster and in front of the hotel and everything. Even at that time when they were still open, the parking lot looks just like nobody's parked outside. One or two people you saw walking around, and I thought they actually worked there, but it actually people were still staying there or whatever. But it was one of my oldest YouTube videos. I was I filmed it out there, and I actually was talking about whether I think the Elantra Inn is ugly, because a lot of people talk about the first generation, how it's a little overstyled in the front, and I talked about how I actually think that it's sort of fitting because it's this little, it reminds me of a honey badger in the front. It's it's especially mine with the white and the red stripes and everything. So I feel like it kind of fits that, because a normal Elantra is literally just regular traffic. It's you see it everywhere. But
yeah, it's I saw one back from Vegas. I saw a stock one. It was flying down the road. I think somewhere in Temecula area. Speaking of which, over there somewhere.
We got a high concentration of them, probably.
Yeah. That's where all the traffic was. Seemed like traffic was really heavy coming by 91 freeway. Got past 91. That's when all the traffic. Oh, yeah. That whole section there was traffic. I was flying for a bit until I got to that area. I don't know what you call it. Riverside area maybe is where it was. All that traffic. Oh,
Corona, down. I think it's kind of Corona-ish, where it's
We're going down the big hill. Was the Cajon Pass. That was bumper to bumper going all the way down the hill.
Yeah.
And so
Cajon Pass is pretty cool though. Sometimes too, depending on the time of day, you'll see the train you'll see trains coming across that pass over there. And I was in the trains before I was in the cars, and I don't know anything really that detailed about trains. But whenever I see a train,
my dad's the same way too. My dad loves trains. Yeah, he had a train set in his front yard, and he still does an outdoor train. He has in the front yard. Yeah. Every Sunday he runs a train. Has people come over and look at it and stuff. It's his thing. He does.
No way. Oh, you gonna have to lick me up. I will be one of those people to come see it.
It's not very big. He's not a lot of space to work with, but it's it loops over itself, a little bridge, and it goes around. He's got all these little miniature houses and people and figures and toys and different things. It's all got grass and bushes and kind of goes around and all that kind of stuff. And he's got different models and stuff. I'm pretty sure he still runs every Sunday. puts it out there.
I know what I'm doing next Sunday. Yeah.
All right, that's place. See, that's great.
I picked my dentist office in San Diego because they had a train that ran across the top of their wall, like between like rooms and stuff. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna be sitting in a dentist chair, like getting my teeth, clean and everything, I don't want to be entertained by this train going along the wall up top. So
of course, who doesn't? Who doesn't? And speaking of being entertained, I hope this podcast entertained you listening or watching this, wherever you're consuming this podcast. This podcast is available in all the cool places, Cool Cars with Chris is in all the cool places on the interweb. You know how it is. And Courage Work, everybody find you and all your cool stuff. Although there will be a link in the show notes, don't you worry. But just give everybody the verbal.
Yeah, for sure. Check out the Driven Dad 22 Instagram and YouTube. And we got some crossovers between the pod and here as well. So feel free to check it out.
Fantastic. Like I said, you can find everything at coolcarswithchris.com. Links to everything. And I mean everything. Everything.
Links on links on links.
Links on links. All the links are down below in the show notes of this episode or the description of this on YouTube or wherever you're watching this or listening to this right now. Go ahead and hit follow or subscribe. You go ahead and do that right now. We'll be waiting for you on the very next episode, and we'll see you then.